All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about one of the most fundamental pieces of Python, variables. Honestly, if you think of your code as a story, variables are the characters. You've got to name them right or the whole plot just falls apart. Get it right, and the computer knows exactly what you're talking about.
So that brings us to the big question, right? What's the real difference between a variable name that works perfectly and one that just crashes everything? It all comes down to a few key rules, some small details that make all the difference. Let's start with the ones you absolutely cannot break.
So what even is a variable? The easiest way to think about it is like a labeled box. Seriously, it's a container where you can stick some data, maybe a number, maybe some text, whatever you need. That label, the variable name, is how you tell Python, hey, go grab the thing inside that specific box for me. Simple as that.
Okay, first section, the unbreakable rules. And I mean that literally. These aren't suggestions or best practices. These are the absolute laws of the Python language. If you want your code to run, you have to follow these, no exceptions.
So here they are, the 5 big laws. First, your variable name has to start with a letter or an underscore. That's it. Second, and this trips people up all the time, it cannot start with a number. Python just won't know what to do with that. Third, after that first character, you can only use letters, numbers, or underscores. No spaces, no hyphens, none of that. Fourth, case matters a lot. And finally, you can't use words that Python has already reserved for itself, its own commands.
Let's see what this looks like in the real world. Over on the left, you've got all the good stuff, names that follow the rules. But check out the right side. See those common mistakes? Starting with a number, that's a no-go. Using a hyphen or a space, that'll break your code instantly. And let's really hammer home this case sensitivity thing. To you and me, age with a lowercase a, age with a capital A, and age in all caps, it all looks like the same word. But to Python? Nope. Those are 3 completely different variables. There are 3 separate unique boxes. If you put something in the lowercase age box, you can't find it by looking in the age box. So the takeaway here is be consistent.
Okay, so we've covered the rules the computer needs to be happy. But what about the other humans who might have to read your code? Or even you 6 months from now? That's where style comes in. This is all about making your code clean and easy to understand.
Since we can't use spaces, we've come up with a few clever ways to make multi-word names readable. You've got camel case, which starts lowercase and has humps in the middle. There's Pascal case, where every word is capitalized. And then there's snake case, which uses underscores to separate words. Now, in the world of Python, snake case is kind of the fan favorite. It's what the official style guide recommends. But really, the most important thing is to pick one and stick with it for readability.
All right, time for a quick pop quiz. Take a look at these 4 options. Based on those unbreakable rules we just went over, which one of these is definitely going to cause an error? And the one that breaks the rules is myvar. Why? It's all about that hyphen. Remember rule number 3? Only letters, numbers, and underscores. When Python sees a hyphen, it thinks you're trying to do subtraction, not name a variable, and it'll get confused immediately. And now, let's get to the really cool stuff. We know how to name our variables, so let's check out some shortcuts for actually giving them values. These are the power moves that'll make you code faster and make your scripts look a whole lot cleaner. First up, assigning a bunch of different values to a bunch of different variables, all at the same time. Instead of wasting 3 lines of code to do this, you can knock it all out in one single slick line. And here's what that looks like. It's pretty cool, right? Python just matches them up in order. X gets orange, Y gets banana, and Z gets cherry. Now here's the one thing you have to remember. The number of variables on the left has to exactly match the number of values on the right. If they don't, Python will give you an error. But what if you want to do the opposite? What if you want to assign the exact same value to a whole group of variables? Like maybe you're setting up a few counters and you want them all to start at 0. Well, yep, there's a power move for that too. And there it is. So simple. This one line creates 3 variables, x, y, and z, and gives all of them the same value, orange, in one go. It's super clean, efficient, and just plain easy to read.
Okay, our last power move is a really useful one called unpacking. This is an absolute game changer when you have data that's already stored inside a collection, like a list, and you want to pull each item out into its own variable.
So, let's say we have this list called fruits. In the very next line, we can just unpack it. Python is smart enough to grab the first item, apple, and give it to x. It grabs the second, banana, for y, and the third, cherry, for z.
It's pretty much the same idea as our first power move, but you're doing it with a collection that already exists.
Okay, one final test to bring it all together. Let's say we want to assign that one string, hello world, to 3 different variables. Looking at these options, which one is the correct syntax for that?
And the correct answer is x equals y equals z equals hello world. This is our one value to multiple variables move in action. It perfectly assigns that single string to all 3 variables at once. Option A wouldn't work because you have 3 variables but only one value, so the counts don't match up.
And that's pretty much the whole playbook. You've got the unbreakable rules, the different styles to choose from, and some seriously cool power moves for assigning values. You now have all the essential building blocks. So the only question left is, what's the first thing you're going to name?